Brett Eldredge, welcome to Chris Country.
How you doing, my friend?
And welcome to the UK. How's it been?
Incredible. Life-changing out here, man. The crowds have been the most engaged crowds I've played in a long time, knowing every single word. And big crowds. For my first time here, it's been... I had no idea that many people knew who I was out here. And so it's like, it's really fun, though, to kind of get a whole new perspective on everything. And it re-inspires me to keep... wanting to come back and keep meeting everybody I can. This is amazing.
Well, there's been a lot of buzz about your trip over here, and you've been doing all the social media as well. Yes. And, people turning out on a Tuesday and a Wednesday in this weather as well. So there must be something going on that people like.
It's a good feeling, knowing when it's been like really rainy and rough times, and people are waiting in line and waiting in big groups of people outside afterwards and stuff like that. That means a lot, and that's just that just makes me want to come back and play next week.
Well, do come back soon. We want to find out all about your new album in a moment or two, but first let's just rewind. You're from Paris, Illinois.
Paris, Illinois, big old booming city.
Now, I've been to Paris, France, Paris, Texas, and even Paris Hotel in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
But what's Paris, Illinois like?
A lot different than all of those. It's a really small farming town, cornfields and cow pastures, and I grew up on a little lake there and sang my whole life and made the move to Nashville and fought through the trenches there to try to get it working, and finally, eventually, after a while, it took off, and now here we are. Because
you've been writing songs quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I transferred there in college, but all I wanted to do was be a singer, and so I picked up songwriting. I figured out I had a knack for it. Next thing you know, people started recording my songs, and here I am getting a record deal, and everything just kind of came together.
When you were writing for other people, did you ever kind of think, I kind of want that song for myself?
Oh, yeah. In fact, there's a couple of them that got recorded by other people that I still might bring back again one day. Because there's several songs that have been re-recorded by people, sometimes it is hard to let go of some of your songs after you've kind of spent so much time making them and writing them, but it's really cool to see other artists put their spin on it, and gives you a whole new respect for, the artistry that someone puts on a song.
Now, you've had two really successful albums. We had Bring You Back, first of all, and now Illinois. From going from one album and all the success that had to the next one, how do you think your style has changed or evolved at all, or anything you learned along the way?
From album 1 to 2, album 1 had a lot of story songs on it, and album 2 had several, but it also had more of my soulful side that came out. I really expanded on and came a little more groovy stuff on the second album that I really wanted to get to, but had to grow to that point. And now I'm really just kind of hit my stride with the Illinois album, and the Bring You Back album put me on the map, and now the Illinois album is just rocketed my career. So I'm on top of the world right now.
Talking of groovy stuff, we've got the album here, and you're clearly a guy who loves country music, and you've got that running through you. Then track 2 comes on, You Can't Stop Me, with Thomas Rhett, and that could almost be a little bit of Nile Rodgers Studio 54 in there. You know what?
I like to chase down music sometimes. No labels on it, just write something because it feels groovy. If I could throw something out there and just, if it sticks, it sticks. But I just know it feels good, and I feel like people are going to feel good when they hear it. And Thomas Rhett came in and sang it, and he loves that kind of groovy kind of stuff as well. And it just really worked out. And so, I think I figured out with albums and with writing is that you don't want to put out the same stuff over and over. You want to put out stuff that people know it's you, and stuff that they've liked about your current, records or current releases. But you also want to grow, and you want to. Otherwise, people will get bored, just like I'll get bored making the same music over and over. And so it's fun to try different things, and I'll go from You Can't Stop Me to a song called Lose It All that's, just straight country that I wrote with Whisper and Bill Anderson, a country music Hall of Famer. And I do all sorts of stuff, but it keeps it fun and exciting, and works out really well so far, I guess.
Cool. Well, we want to play your favorite song from the album shortly, so have a think about that. First, a couple of questions from listeners that have come in. Liz says, what's the best part about performing on stage?
It's the electricity, it's the energy, it's the lightning that goes through your veins that sets you on fire, that the crowd gives you. That if I could have the worst day in the world, and as soon as I hear that first scream of the crowd and roar of the drums and guitars, I'm right back. And that's what I live for, is to get on that stage and feel that energy from the crowd.
You're grinning just talking about it.
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling. I hear my band warming up right now. I'm chomping at the bit to get up there on stage. I just love it that much.
Kirsty got in touch and said, when you're going to come back to the UK, and can you bring a certain Mr. Urban with you?
Yeah. You know, I don't know when I'm going to come back, but hopefully next year. I mean, I love it so much. I'd come back this year if I had Keith Urban and I are going to be touring all summer, so I guess that kind of scratches that out. But next year, sign me up. I want to be here. And so I would play here every other week if I could. But I just love it so much so far. So this has been a great first trip.
And a question that maybe ties in with some of the different sounds on your album. Melissa says, how do you think country is going to evolve over the next few years?
You see it go in cycles of so many different ways. From, you know, it might be a more groovy kind of poppy sound, then it might go into more story song, or it might go into more back roads kind of stuff. There's all different things, but I think when it goes down to the heart and soul of it all, there's one thing in common. It's those stories, and it's that there's a depth to it that not a lot of the other genres go. So I think that the growth from here is it's got, you know, you got a lot of great stuff coming out there, and I think people are having to even up their game more and put better songs out and stronger songs, and I love that. That fuels me up to make the best music I can too.
Before we play your favourite song off the album, tell us, if we were to, while you're on stage, steal your iPod and look at your playlist, what kind of stuff we're going to find on there?
Oh man, it's a pretty whack playlist. You'll find anything from Jay-Z to George Jones to Brooks and Dunn to Vince Gill to John Mayer to Ed Sheeran to Brad Paisley to Keith Urban to Tim McGraw. You know, it's all over the map. But I just love it. I love all kinds of music.
Well, thank you so much for bringing your music to the UK and spending some time with us and traveling around in very cold weather.
Yes. I love it. I grew up in Illinois, so I'm used to it.
I've got a friend from Illinois, and he's the grumpiest person I know,
Really?
and I think it's the weather.
He must not be related to me. I'm not grumpy. But yeah, it probably is the weather.
When you're listening back to Illinois, and I'm sure, you know, you must have gone through the order of the songs and swapped songs out and changed stuff and maybe left a few aside and what have you. When you're listening through, if you're going to pick one song out and you're like, really proud of that one.
Number 4, I Want to Be That Song. That's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It just, I had that idea when people started getting married to Mean to Me. They started having it as their first dance and everything. And I said, well, what I've learned from this is I want to be that song that's a part of someone's life, a soundtrack to their life. You know, if I can touch people, will help them laugh, help them when they need to laugh, and help them cry when they need to cry. I want to be that song that makes you fall in love. You know, I want to be a part of your life soundtrack, and that's what that song's about. And it really speaks to love and how I picture love and what I want to be to somebody else.
Awesome stuff. We'll play that for you now. Brett Eldredge, come back soon.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
The UK's country station.